This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Hello and welcome to the iRacing Esports Network and the BSR MX5 Pro Series presented by Apex Racing TV. My name is Sam Fitzpatrick and alongside me this evening is Tyler Maxson. And we're here in the MX5 car round this Nordschleife circuit. It's the 24 hours of Nürburgring circuit that we're racing today for three 30-minute races, 3-lap races, which should take about half an hour for each one. Tyler, this is a very unique race. We're used to the quick, fast 15-minute races and 4 of them, but just due to the obscurity of this circuit, we've had to make some changes. So it will be quite a different occasion for these drivers today.
Yeah, it really will be a difference. And, you know, this is such a difficult track to begin with. Then you add in the fact that it's going to be a 30-minute race. That's just going to make it so difficult for those drivers to really be able to keep their focus for that long because you're not allowed. The Nürburgring doesn't allow you to drop your focus for even a second because it will bite you hard if you do that. So you've really got to keep focused for the entire 30-minute race, and there's really no room for error around the circuit.
Yeah, anyone who saw the BSR Amateur Cup, BSR MX5 Amateur Cup yesterday on Apex Racing TV, I believe there are a few issues in that as well. And so, yeah, could be plenty of problems for these drivers. Going to be a tough race, but that is why we love this circuit. Actually, doing a bit of a poll on the Apex Racing TV Facebook page, and this track scored pretty highly in people's favourite circuits on all of sim racing, so we really do love this place. Qualifying is very nearly over, by the way. Before we'll go through the grid, just Craig Cameron, who's currently sitting in P20, has extended this session just a little bit. With the way that this works, you can finish the lap that you start when the timer ticks down, and he pretty much started it just as the timer ticked down, and so he's pretty much been by himself for the last 5 minutes out on circuit. He is about to cross the line, and I swear if this isn't their personal best, I think some of the drivers will not be best pleased because they would quite like to get on with the racing. It could be a long evening of racing this. We're not used to the 1 hour 30 of racing. We're used to just the 1 hour, so it's going to be a long evening anyway, and this maybe has extended it just a little bit more. But Craig Cameron then approaching the line. This is his 4th lap, I believe, and he crosses the line, and he does move up into 14th place, so it was all worth it. And Bosch into the wall. And I think imminently we can go through the grid as long as the timer ticks down. Seemingly it's not, though. And it's a bit concerning because we might still have another 7 minutes to go in the session. Quickly, I will just mention the championship standings because at the moment it's Jason Cooper leading the way with Jack Ashton in 2nd place. Quite a big gap between those two. Cooper turned up for the last round whilst Ashton unfortunately missed it, but Ashton does have a larger drop score, so Could be interesting between those two jars. Nick McKern is in third place. He's actually had a few good rounds along with Luke Cooper, so they're quite a close third and fourth. And Kip Stevens is in fifth. In the amateur category, you got Ewan Ursum, the head of that championship. He's quite a long way ahead of Ben Mears, but that gap has come down. Scott Malcolm is in third, David Ayres in fourth, and Carl Hardy is in fifth. So keep an eye out on all those jars. And it seems, Tyler, we're going to have another 6 minutes of this. For some sort of reason, the session is not advancing. So, well, the anticipation is building up because these drivers have been waiting for about 20 minutes going into this next race. So they could be a little bit cool, and this track is one that you want to be red hot going into.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, you just want to have about as fresh of track experience as you can on this track. And, the track conditions, I just was taking a look at those. I'll see if I can get an on-screen overlay. We'll just go back to the race info screen just to kind of look at your track conditions right now. 21 degrees track temperature, so that's pretty low for track temperature. 19 degrees air ambient, so there's pretty low temperatures out on the track, which can prove good for some drivers, good for others. Some drivers like it to be cool. Some drivers like the hotter conditions, which I think we're going to see it kind of heat up there for race number 2. And then we'll also see that through race number 3 as well. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out for the drivers. The track is super, super long. As you can see, 25.18 kilometers, over 620 feet of elevation change over this very, very long and iconic course. And I think most of the drivers love this place, as I do love it myself, and super excited to see some racing kick off here. But I think we're going to have to wait a quite long time for qualifying to end.
Yes, and if you're not thoroughly entertained at the moment, do not worry. Today's racing is going to be pretty mad. Anyone who usually watches this series knows how it's usually frantic racing. And, well, this is a completely different challenge for these drivers, a bit of a longer race. And around such a difficult circuit, anyone who's driven round this place knows just how difficult it is to do half a lap, let alone 1 lap, let alone 3 laps that these drivers can have to do, let alone do it alongside 50 other cars for 3 races. So it's going to be very tough for these drivers. I assume it's not going to be a night race for the last race. I'm usually hating the night races, but I must say around here it would be quite a lot of fun. I can't lie, but you're absolutely right earlier on, Tyler. The track temperature should rise a little bit. Of course, the cooler the track temperature, a bit more grip the drivers have onto this circuit. And I always find around this circuit, Tyler, it's a bit of a compromise. You can really set your car up for the Nordschleife, but the Nordschleife feels so different to the GP circuit. So you can sacrifice a lot of time on the GP circuit for the Nordschleife, but then at the same time, the GP circuit is where you can actually overtake. So it's always quite difficult to make a setup for this place.
Yeah, it really is difficult. Here you want kind of the more balanced setup, whereas anywhere else, you may want to tailor it to a certain type of corner if that is the majority on this track. Well, this track pretty much has everything, so you've got to get a balanced setup that really is just going to work everywhere, and you're really not going to have too big of issues in the Nordschleife and also in the GP circuit. Like you said, you can kind of set up the car to lose a lot of time in the GP circuit and also set it up to lose maybe some more time through the Nordschleife. But you've definitely got to be really, really good going through the Nordschleife so that you don't lose too much time around that so that you can make it all up through the Grand Prix circuit. So it's really difficult to set up a car here, and it's also really difficult to race here, especially with 50 other cars on the track. These drivers are in for a show tonight.
Definitely, and this first lap as well could be very costly because obviously around this Nordschleife circuit, it's so difficult to overtake. And your best chance is going to be going into the first few corners. And that first chicane as well, Tyler, not like it used to be back in the, I believe 2001 was the last year they had the Castrol S through that part, quite a sweeping right and left corners. Now it's a bit kind of artificial. You go through the tyre barriers and it's quite easy to just kind of tag your inside left wheel into that tyre barrier through the first few corners.
Yeah, it really is. And, this track is so special in the fact that you drive it, and the way you drive this place is kind of different really to where you drive anywhere else. The commitment here is going to be the biggest deciding factor in lap time. If you just fully commit to a lap, it can be worth maybe 3 or 4 seconds than if you were just out there cruising. And where at this track, I kind of like to use the reference of seconds are like tenths at this track. So, whenever you're only separated by a tenth, that's like being separated by a couple thousandths at another track just because of the sheer size of this place. You can fit like 4 or 5 other tracks into this one. So it's just so big, so difficult, and such a long endurance of a lap.
Yeah, and that's why we love it. Well, while some drivers hate it, and I think the drivers are hating this place a little bit at the moment because we have been waiting for about quarter of an hour already, the majority of the drivers, waiting to get this race underway. We have got 50 seconds to go until we will start gridding up there. It's a 2-minute gridding process. Some of it, I imagine, we won't use. And then, of course, later on, we haven't even mentioned the reverse grids. And I mean, that's going to be a fascinating element to today's racing. We usually have reverse grids from about 30 drivers up to about 45 drivers. We can have full reverse grids sometimes. And that really does mix up the action. But of course, you remember, you've got to finish at least 1 lap down, I believe, in order to be eligible for that reverse grid. So if you crash in this first race, it can really wreck your whole afternoon. Then all of a sudden, you're starting from the back in race 2, and you're more likely to get into a crash, and then you're starting at the back of race 3 as well. So really important for these drivers to deliver straight away. And well, guess what? The timer is down, and we can now go through your starting grid for this round of the championship. And it's Jason Cooper, championship leader, on the pole position, 3/10 clear of Alex Cherney in second. Jack Ashton really needs to win a couple of races today if he's going to tag some points back in the championship. Charlie Summers starts in 4th, Adam Delmont in 5th, and there's Adam McNally, Brian Holmes, Max Bohr, David Hampson, and Jamie Ayres. And that's James McRitchie, Stuart Dick, Pete Van Gool, Craig Cameron, Max Wright, Kip Stevens, Matthew Emery, Nick McKern, Cesar Rizzo, and Andy Maxwell. That's the top 20. By the way, just for reference, the top 25, as you can probably see, all set qualifying times. The rest, unfortunately, couldn't get in a lap time, and they included Carson Cern and Luke Cooper, and quite a few very quick drivers. So watch out for some drivers making some moves in these early stages. And well, it's going to be difficult to call this one, certainly, Tyler. But do you think Jason Cooper for Swift Cooper Esports is perhaps the favourite for this race one?
Yes, starting on the pole here is such a big advantage, especially if the drivers behind you really start to battle, but you really can't call a favorite here at the Nordschleife. It's such a difficult track, it's such a long track, and it's just such a challenge for the drivers that really you can't call a winner until you get out of the last corner a lot of times, because anything can happen. I mean, I've seen drivers wreck out here in the last couple of seconds of the lap, and just even wreck out in the last corner of the lap on the last lap. So really, even if you think that you've got the race won, you can still easily lose it very quickly here at the Nordschleife. So you can never rest on your laurels, you could say here. You've really always got to be on your toes and be ready for absolutely anything.
Absolutely. And Jason Cooper, I don't know how much experience he's got around this circuit. Maybe took part in VLN earlier on in the year. There's quite a few VLN races, of course, on iRacing. And also the Nürburgring 24 hours as well. It's a bit of a specialist circuit this. Who is going to be on the top step of the podium at this race one? Jason Cooper is on the pole position. Alex Cherney is teammate from 2nd place. And away we go here at the Nürburgring. And the front runners all get a pretty good start. I think that's Jack Ashton, maybe just trying to pressurise Alex Cherney going into turn 1. At the moment, Cooper is away well. Are the drivers all going to get through this first tight, twisty chicane all right? Well, they are going 2 wide, but no 3 or 4 wides as far as I could see. So nice driving on the most part. Maybe a little bit of smoke from some of the drivers, a little bit of contact, but that is very impressive driving so far as they negotiate the rest of this GP.
So far they've gotten good, but Jason Cooper has gotten the best start from what I can see here. He's already half a second out ahead of his teammate Alex Cherney. He has Jack Ashton there in 3rd, Charlie Summers, and Adam Delmont. That'll be your top 5 as we head through the GP track. We've got several battles here, including a battle for the AM lead. Craig Cameron and Max Wright side by side, and that's Matthew Emery down the inside as well. He couldn't make that one work. but he will try and get the run out, and he's not going to be able to. It's so easy just to swoop around the outside there and carry the momentum down into the next part of the track. But right now, everyone pretty much staying in line.
Yeah, going to single file pretty quickly, and not too many of the front runners at least looking to go to move straight away. The top 5 are unchanged. Holmes has got ahead of McNally. Ayres is ahead of Hampson. That's all the change in the top 14 at least. Matthew Emery has now taken the lead, in fact, out of the club drivers. He's alongside Max Wright, who's just been able to take that back again. And Emery actually having a bit of a poor exit just from down this back straight, struggling a little bit. Struggling a little bit as well is Alex Cherney. Big slipstream for the driver behind Jack Ashton. But Ashton can't make the move into this next chicane, and that's really important. Swift Cooper Esports versus Excite Racing. We've seen that so many times. The leading 2 teams out in the championship, and they are dominating around this circuit once again. Cesar Rizzo as well, we just caught a glimpse of a few moments ago. He's up 4 places, up into 15th place. He's the big gainer. Also, Nars Carstensen up 5 places. Stephen Baxter up 8. Carl Yacolet is up 18 as well. Tyler, you were saying how Carl is a pretty good driver around this circuit yesterday, and he's certainly showing that so far.
Yes, he is. He's really moving up the track, or really moving up the grid right now on positions, already up to P30. That's pretty impressive there from the Year 1 racing driver. As he goes for a move on Al Amri, he's not able to make that one stick, and they're still going to go side by side. That was a quite ambitious move if he was trying to make that one work, but he has not been able to do so, and they will stay as they are. He's already up into 8th place in the AMS, and that's Jamie Ayres slow.
Disappointing for Ayres. He was, I believe, in the top 10 early on, and that is a mistake for him. No issues from his side, I think, just a mistake, and yeah, unfortunate there. Stuart Tick getting a little bit of a slide on around that part of the circuit. You can see how the slipstream effects around this Nordschleife circuit really showing there. Cherney versus Summers versus Ashton. They're all going close up on one another, 2 by 2. They go into the fast left-hander. It's a fast right as well. You cannot afford to go wide here, otherwise you're going to sail into the car ahead. Summers going all the way around the outside of his teammate at the moment. He was running in 4th behind Ashton, just running a little bit wide though was Summers. He might stay ahead of Ashton. Really, Swift Cooper Esports just want to lock out the top 3 at the moment and really, yes, stop Ashton, but they're still going side by side. They're blocking the entire circuit at the moment. Who is going to get ahead? Summers just about puts his nose ahead, but he might have the outside for the next corner. Into the wall goes Charlie Summers. He was fighting for 2nd place, and in the end he's gone round, and now it's another driver as well. It's Alex Cherney. So the 2 Swift Cooper Esports drivers are fighting for 2nd and 3rd place. They've crashed into one another, and it's really let each other down.
Yeah, they have absolutely just crashed within 2 corners of each other. I don't think that there was any contact that caused that, but they have crashed within 2 corners of each other. So unfortunate. So now it was 3 Swift Cooper Esports drivers up in the top 3. Now it's just 1 with just Jason Cooper out in the lead. He's got about a 2.5 second lead now over Adam Delmont in that Excite iRacing car, but there's 4 Excite iRacing cars all in a line there. It's Delmont from Holmes, from Ashton to McNally, and that is going to be 2nd on through 5th. So they definitely are having a good show. Here's our Excite iRacing, and they're going to continue on to move up and try and close in on Jason Cooper out in the lead. And right now, Adam Delmont's already doing that. This is Brian Holmes. He missed the apex. Super easy to do down into that corner. You miss the braking zone just that little bit, and you are out for the ride.
I mean, that could have been a whole lot worse as well for Holmes, was it, or another driver. And yeah, fortunately didn't go smashing into the wall. He stays ahead of McNally as well. And so it's still an Excite iRacing 2, 3, 4, 5 at the moment. Also, Bohr versus McRitchie going side by side just behind these guys. That's McRitchie on the outside, Bohr on the inside. Remember, we're only halfway through the opening lap of the race. It's a long lap this, and they've got 3 of these to complete, and we've already seen quite a bit of action. Now, this is where the slipstream can really pay for a lot of these drivers. Down this next straight in these times, I imagine it's probably about half a minute, full throttle, no hint of a lift whatsoever through this next left-hander. In some cars, you do have to lift off ever so slightly, but this Mazda easily copes with it. Luke Cooper gaining some places, of course, 3rd in the championship, also 4th in the championship. and he's gained a few places already. Back to this battle with McVitchie and Hampson and Bohr as well, who's dropped down a little bit. You can see how Bohr hasn't got the slipstream at the moment. McVitchie is going to be ahead going into this left-hander, but who's going to be in second position out of this train? It's Hampson at the moment pulling ahead of Bohr, and now Stuart Dick as well is getting involved to get back into single file though as they approach the carousel part of the lap.
Yeah, and actually just want to jump back to this battle in the midfield here. Look at this gaggle through the fast left-hander, and they're able to all get through there cleanly. You can see a lot of damage to the back of the number 33, Adrian Hendy. So the pro driver having some issues. There was some rear end damage. That just shows the kind of bump draft that you will do around this place. Currently, that train is being led by Ben Sharp in the Fury Sim Sport car. Then it's Stephen Cooley in second in the train. Then it's Rob Graham, Adrian Hendy, Liam Silkston, and Benjamin Mears. And that is for 25th up down to 30th. So you can see there is just battles all the way through here at the Nordschleife. The Nordschleife is definitely known for producing some incredible battles, and it is definitely producing that here today.
Definitely. And it's always great to see those cars go around the carousel. There's really nothing like it in all of motorsports to have a corner like that, and the Masters can really deal with it extremely well. No damage picked up from it whatsoever. They deal with these curbs ever so impressively. So we are about 2/3 of the way around this opening lap then, and it's Cooper leading the way ahead of Delmont and Ashton, who did get back ahead of Holmes after that mistake from Brian Holmes earlier on. Then it's McNally in 5th, McVitchie in 6th, up 5 places already, Dave Hampson in 7th, and Max Bohr running out the top 8. Matthew Emery is currently leading out of the drivers and has just got past Pete Van Gool, so a mistake there from Van Gool, or maybe a slowdown. He seems to be pretty weary out on circuit at the moment. It's difficult to overtake around this part of the circuit because very much single file really narrows this part of the track. You desperately don't want to hit any curbs. Tell that to Alex Cherney though. He's going to go round the outside through this one, just about keeps his car on the circuit, and then down the dip they go. A little bit of air picked up by the Swift Cooper Esports driver, who was fighting for the lead, remember, earlier on, but well, at least he's starting to recover some places, and he hasn't got too much damage.
And look at this, it's Max Bohr all over the back of Dave Hampson now. So Bohr looking all over the place. You really can't make a move here in this final bit of the lap. It's almost impossible, or at least if you do, the driver behind will just go clean back by you down the straightaway. So as you can see, everyone just staying in line. They all know that it's not the best place to make a move. Max Bohr, though, really going to look for it now down the long back straightaway. I think this is probably the longest back straightaway that we'll race on all season in the BSR MX5 Cup, possibly besides Le Mans. But even then, it is split up between 2 chicanes. I think that this one crowns that title. But there you go, Max Bohr looking now. He's got the slipstream from, I think that's James McRitchie just ahead. And as while it is a small slipstream, it is enough to make a difference. You can see they're going 3 wide just ahead of them. Ashton, Holmes, and Delmont 3 wide now between the Exide iRacing cars.
Terrific between these guys, allowing James McRitchie to get involved in this as well. Who's going to take the lead out of these drivers? This is the battle for second position. Remember, Brian Holmes moves back up into second place, then past Ashton, past Delmont. And it looks as though the car number 58 will come out ahead of all these guys. Delmont versus Ashton, almost over, so Delmont pulls ahead though. And you can see that chasing pack of cars as well, the 3 of them of Hampson, Dick and Bohr all caught up down that straight as well. But there was no slipstream on the race leader, Jason Cooper. He leads up by 4 seconds after the opening lap. Whilst his teammates have had issues, he has been absolutely stern, and he has got the first lap out of 3 in the books. Here's the battle a little bit further behind for the top 20 positions. Still some of the drivers. It shows the field spreads. I guess, Tyler, that we've got about half a minute already between the front runners and some of the midfielders.
Yeah, and that just shows how big this field is, how deep the competition is, and how big this track is, because it's just like, just in that amount of time, we would have almost done an entire normal length race. But keep in mind, we still have 2 more laps to go. Right now, though, it's smooth sailing for Jason Cooper out in the lead. He's got a 4-second advantage over Brian Holmes and the rest of the Exide iRacing cars and the whole rest of the field. So he is really, really pulled away now, and he's benefited from their battling a lot. So it would be interesting for me, at least, to see whether these Exide iRacing cars are just going to try to get in line with each other and really try to push back up to Cooper, or if they're going to continue to battle it out, knowing that he is so far away.
Seems as though Brian Holmes might be the fastest one of these drivers out of the Excite iRacing drivers. Usually it's Ashton, hence why Ashton is the leader out of these drivers in the championship. But so this Nordschleife circuit is just unlike anything else. And so it's really anything goes around this circuit. Really do need to just be good around this specific circuit. It can be a complete anomaly quite often. And so maybe Ashton not being too comfortable out here. Hampson's just got ahead of McRitchie then. So McRitchie, he was looking really strong. Remember, he really closed in on the podium places down the Dopner-Ho on that last lap. But has now dropped behind the SimLab driver. And also his teammate now just behind him of Stuart Dick, the other asymmetric driver under pressure from P9, Max Bohr. Nels Carstensen, by the way, up into 10th place. Just at the head of this. He's up 16 places from his start.
Yeah, Carstensen really moving up some places. Let's also check back in on Alex Journey. He spun at the top of the hill there on the last lap after the fast uphill left-hander, sorry, and sadly spun around, was parked up on the grass. He's back into 15th place now, so he's had a pretty good recovery so far. Will be interesting to see though if he is able to really get himself back up into those top 10 positions and hopefully benefit from the reverse grid, or if this gap is going to be too big for him to catch. So this is going to be another driver to keep an eye out on, especially if those front cars really start to battle and everything closes up really tight. Then this driver is definitely one that could get back up into the podium places.
Definitely, and I'm surprised he hasn't got too much damage on that car, but seems to be going about his way well. So on the last lap, we found this part of the circuit where the Swift Cooper Esports drivers came together. I wouldn't bet against the Excite iRacing drivers getting together on this lap, because you can see they're ever so close. Holmes just pulling away a little bit, but Delmont with quite a train behind him. You can see how competitive all these drivers are in the top 10. You can see second down to 9th place, all pretty much in a line at the moment. And around this part of the circuit, you can really get the slipstream done. And you can see how they're even catching up to Brian Holmes as well in second place, just edging closer and closer, and that's really helping Delmont. Just that little bit of a toe ahead fends him off from the drivers chasing him. And now they're all back together again.
Yeah, and this right here, that section that they just went through, that's where we saw the Swift Cooper drivers crash within 2 corners of each other. The Excite drivers keep it together, though. They don't have any issues as they head through that section of the track. This is a very fast, high-speed section, especially this next turn. Super fast, super high speed. If you miss the apex by just about a foot, then you're going to end up out in the grass, and the wall is very, very close proximity to the track, so it's very difficult to get that car slowed down and not hit the wall. You can just see this gap is, the train actually, is growing. It's now down all the way down to 9th place with Max Bohr at the rear. And Brian Holmes, though, still leads that train out. And then it's Adam Delmont, Jack Ashton, Adam McNally, Dave Hampson, who we were talking about, as well as James McRitchie, Stuart Dick, and then Max Bohr. And then they have 6 seconds back to Niels Carstensen. So these group right now pretty comfortably out in ahead of the rest of the field.
Yeah, Carstensen might be able to catch up. He's 6 seconds behind this pack, but he'll do well. Still got well. We're pretty much halfway round this race, I guess now. And I do thank everyone who's tuned in already. And if you enjoy this video, certainly do leave it a like, and also subscribe to the iRacing Esports Network. And also, if you wouldn't mind, give Apex Racing TV, our YouTube channel, a check out as well. And then you can see far more action like this, touring cars and other Mazda action as well, along with plenty of other series, including the iRacing Le Mans series as well on a Friday evening. But you can see Brian Holmes again, he seems to be a bit faster than all these other drivers. Got that gap back up to 9/10 of a second. Also got close between Cherney and Cameron. Cherney's just got past, so I guess we'll Cherney, well, he might be under pressure down this next straight.
He will have the draft, though, off of Max right, so be difficult for Cameron to be able to really close up, and I can see that he's not. Actually, really, it is Cherney closing in on right, so will Cherney try to make a move through the fast left-hander, which they're coming up on very, very soon. I don't think he'll be close enough. Yes, he will. He'll look for a move here through the fast left-hander.
There he goes, and you got to go the long way round, but the momentum is such that he's going to be able to pull ahead. And that is very nicely done, almost contact just behind, side by side, both cars almost seemingly sliding into one another. That was the Malt curve, and then coming up to Steel Strike this next corner, and then of course the famous carousel as well. Look at these guys. Jeez, absolutely. Bumper to bumper. Holmes lost that lead, by the way, so Holmes it keeps on pulling away through the tight twisty stuff. And then they get onto a straight and it's completely dissolved. I mean, yeah, each of these straights you gain about a second on the driver ahead, and that's really let him down. Got Delmont, Ashton, McNally, Hampson. Got an issue for Ben Sharp and Adrian Hendy, seemingly both off the circuit. And it seems like it's quite bad for Sharp. I think he's had to tow back to the pits.
Yes, I do think so. We'll try to get a replay of all that at the end of the race. We will go through, as I have a lot of incidents up on the timing tower. So definitely we'll be going through pretty much everything at the end of the race. I do think, though, that they still will be eligible for the reverse grid, being that they are 1 lap down. So that is to keep in mind. I don't think that they will go 2 laps down on this. So we'll have to keep that in mind going into the reverse grid. Is really at these drivers. They could retire, I think, now, or even maybe it would have to be at the end of or at the beginning of next lap, and they would actually be able to benefit from the reverse grid. So that just shows how even if you are 10 seconds or 10 minutes behind the leader, you can still be on the lead lap of him. Or just 1 lap down from him.
Yeah, as long as you complete 2 laps, then you'll be eligible for it. And we do get some very big reverse grids in this. So you're absolutely right, Tyler. That just need to finish. So that's all you need to do, and you could have a terrific chance. And we've seen overtaking, to be fair, very possible. I was probably quite wrong when I said how you need to get the moves down the GP circuit, because down some of these long straights, you're pretty much defenseless from the drivers behind, at least in this MX5 car. Perhaps bigger cars, it's a bit more difficult to make the moves. But in this MX5 car, this track just about wide enough. As off the circuit goes Holmes, he was trying to pull away to make a gap, but I think he's about to be the definition of a sitting duck. There's absolutely no opportunity, and it's bad as well for Adam Delmont, because look, he's pretty much got no opportunity. Oh dear, he's crashed into the wall, and now a couple of others have crashed into the wall. Big incident. Brian Holmes sets it all off. That's also Stuart Dick getting a bit of damage. I think McRitchie clipped the wall. I think Adam McNally also hit his teammate.
Yes, that was a big incident there. Delmont, you can just see the damage that Delmont has to the front end of that car, and it doesn't even look like it's tracking straight. Let's right on board with him. Yeah, it's not even tracking straight, so Delmont is going to have a horrid time getting that car around for the next bit of the lap. Max Bohr goes around him, but right now, here's the battle for second place. It is at Dave Hampson, who is going to be the biggest benefit in that group. And he's going to move himself up into second place quite easily there. So he's gone from about 5th back in the train up into the lead of it.
Yeah, was running in 7th place at the start of this lap. I believe he was 7th place going on to the Dotner High. But there he goes into 2nd place now, Dave Hampson. And, well, that is some fantastic Nürburgring driving. Just wait for his rivals ahead to make a mistake. And, well, they did in the end, and it's really paid off for him. Here's Niels Carstensen. And this could be a fun last lap for him, because he's got a few damaged cars to go and catch. He's going to get one pretty easily. That's Adam Delmont, who I think was the driver who was part of that initial contact right at the start of when that all kicked off. But here comes now. Is that Max Bohr just behind? Sorry, Matthew Emery. Trying to get past Niels Carstensen, but probably did the wise thing there and just stayed behind these two. Emery, remember, an AM driver, but you wouldn't guess by it, because he's going to have a chance of maybe a top 5 in this race.
Yeah, Matthew Emery really doing a nice job here to keep himself up in the front. He definitely drives like a pro driver, but he is categorized as an AM ever since joining the series just a few races ago, I believe. That's a pretty good few debut races for him. Is Matthew Emery, so he's up there fighting with some of the best. Nils Carstensen. You've got James McRitchie up in there. You've got Max Bohr, very experienced drivers in the league, and he is up there fighting with them.
Yeah, one to watch in future rounds. Of course, we're over halfway through the chat. This season, 84 of 144 races have been complete. I don't know if this one is worth extra, as we see James McRitchie dropping down. He was one of the really unfortunate ones. He was near the rear of the train and just was super unlucky. He had nowhere to go when it all kicked off ahead of him going onto the Dotner Height. He's doing a valiant effort, though, is McRitchie, at holding off Emery for a bit longer. And here's also Ashley Beard getting past Pete Van Gool up 13 places. Now is at Ashley Beard. So whilst the other Excite drivers are dropping backwards, he's seemingly moving forward still.
Yeah, so he's really moving forward. And just looking here at the biggest movers right now, Nils Carstensen up 20 positions. And let's see who else has moved up a lot of spots. That is Liam Silkston up 25. I think right now he has got the biggest mover spot. And I think that proves that it's not hard to pass through the Nordschleife. If you can survive the Nordschleife, first off, you're going to gain a lot of positions. And second off, it's really, this track, if you force it in, you can pretty much get by your rival, because there's not much that they can do to fight back, is there really, because it's either you let out of it, or we're going to push you out into the grass, and you're going to be pushed into the wall. So it's definitely leaves a lot of people defenseless if they can't seem to get the move done quickly.
Yeah, and so far the Jazz have been quite courteous in terms of the moving down the straights. Of course, you can kind of just weave from one side of the circuit to the other in an order of defense, but it's certainly not recommended. These drivers are perhaps having some more self-preservation. For example, Hampson here could swerve from left to right and pretty much make himself impossible to overtake, but he picks aside the left-hand side and forces McNally to go round the right. And if he can make this one stick, the Excite Racing driver, he's going to have the inside for the next corner, almost trying to move across there a little bit. Hampson breaking down, and that was really good there from Hampson. He took a relatively tight line there, really suffocated McNally on the inside, and there was nothing that the Excite iRacing driver could do. This would be a terrific podium for the SimLab driver. Remember, we were talking earlier on about how Excite and Swift Cooper Esports have been absolutely dominating recently in the season. It looked like they were going to dominate this round, occupying the top 8 places in the opening lap. But now we've got Dave Hampson really upsetting that trend.
Yeah, Dave Hampson in the SimLab car. We usually don't see SimLab fighting for the podium positions. They usually are a pretty good team and are fighting near the front, but not quite at the caliber that Dave Hampson has been doing today. So really pulling the weight there for the SimLab team, doing an amazing job to get himself up to second place and fight with some of the bigger teams such as Excite iRacing, the Swift Cooper drivers. Right now, driver who we haven't really given much love to in this broadcast here, Jason Cooper. He's out in the lead by 8.1 seconds, 8.2 seconds actually, and he set fastest lap by over a second. So if that just kind of says anything for you, that just shows Jason Cooper's dominance here in the series and in these last few laps here right now, as he is going to cruise to a comfortable victory. If he can just keep this car underneath him now for the next 5 minutes of the lap, he should be able to cruise on into a good, nice race win. But it's going to be difficult for him to get back through without having contact whenever we get that reverse grid in play, which could definitely force him to start all the way back. And I think right now it's nearly 30th position.
Yeah, 34 drivers, I think, are looking like they're going to be eligible for that reverse grid. And so he could be starting all the way back then. Of course, he could have a small reverse grid, but I think the smallest is something like 25. So it's always going to be difficult for Jason Cooper to repeat this. But I would not bet against him perhaps taking another race victory. Although I think with the chaos we've seen so far today, just 3 top 10s would be a very good point for him, really further his championship cause. We're going to see a nice battle here for second place, because once again the driver in second place seems to be pretty rapid, pulls away through the corners, and has no defense down this straight. You can see how Adam McNally is absolutely charging him down. Also, Max Bohr as well, keeping in touch with these guys. Almost made the move earlier on in the lap, did McNally. And I think this time he's going to get it done. No opportunity for the Simlab driver to defend. Here comes Ashton down the inside as well. Hits the curb and into the wall goes Dave Hampson. Such a disappointment. And that seems pretty serious steering damage. He'll be able to nurse the car around, but I don't think he's going to be able to yield any decent result. And he has got several miles to go. And, well, he'll cross the line. I'm sure he will not give up. But that is a potential podium gone out of the window.
Yeah, and that just, that's so unfortunate for him. You know, I kind of don't put any blame on him for it. As Max Bohr down the inside, he gets into the side of McNally. He's going to push McNally around the corner, and Jack Ashton's going to be the biggest benefitter going up now into second place. Max Bohr, really aggressive move there. And now it is two Exide iRacing drivers having issues within just 2 corners of each other.
And now, after all that, Niels Carstensen moves up into 3rd place. Remember, the driver who was like outside the top 10, what, 10 minutes ago maybe? I don't think he's overtaken anyone in that time. At least no, like, fully fit cars. Just waited for the carnage to ensue, and he's up into 3rd position. Quite incredible, and he might even have a chance at catching up to Jack Ashton as well. Still could be 2 Swift Cooper esports drivers on the podium, which after a couple of them took each other out earlier on, looks a long way away. Hampson is still in 12th place, but I think he's probably going to drop out maybe down to 19th place. Liam Silkston is 25 seconds behind Juran Ursum currently. So there's a bit of a pocket there for perhaps Hampson to slot into, but still a long way away from where he was hoping to finish. So Emery then, I was saying at the start of this lap, he might have a chance at a top 5. He might even have a chance at a podium if he can stay in range of the drivers ahead going onto the Doppler Ho with that slipstream effect. And Alex Cherney, who crashed on the opening lap, I thought that was going to be pretty much a game over for him. He's up into 7th place.
Yeah, the driver I'm really interested, though, to watch at is right now Matthew Emery. And also look at Alex Cherney. He's got a chance for a top 6 right now. And if it there was wide from James McRitchie, and that is easily going to allow Cherney to get his move done. But right now, the battle that I'm interested to see is the battle between Matthew Emery, Max Bohr, and Niels Carstensen. Carstensen only 1.1 seconds ahead of this battle. If he can really if he makes any sort of mistake here, then it is just going to allow Max Bohr and Matthew Emery to close that gap up quite rapidly. And if Matthew Emery possibly pushes Max Bohr down the straightaway, they could also catch him as well. So a lot of options there for those drivers to weigh in a quite quick manner to possibly, for Matthew Emery, get a podium here against some pro drivers. So he's doing an absolutely amazing job, being that he is an AM. He's leading the AM race by 4. Oh, and he's out of fuel.
Oh dear. I mean, I don't know if that's a curse or what, but Emery really struggling down this next straight. We're going to have a tight battle for 2nd place as well. Ashton is going to be caught and passed by Carstensen. There he goes, absolutely no defence. Such a wide part of the circuit. Ashton will get back into the slipstream, but the overspeed for Carstensen is so much like still pulling away even at the end of the straight. Bohr will finish in 4th place. Emery's already dropped down to 7th, and he's going to drop behind Wright as well, I think. And Wright has taken the lead out of the AM drivers. Jason Cooper, though, is going to cross the line, and he wins race 1 at Nürburgring. Domination from Jason Cooper, and he made absolutely no mistake en route. Here comes Ashton. He's got a decent run coming out of the final corner, but maybe just that bit of damage costing him down this next straight. The car number 98 will finish in 3rd place. Carstensen up 24 places into 2nd. Bohr will finish in 4th, and Emery is struggling to the line. I think he's had to skip the final corners. 3 wide now across the line. McNally super struggling as well. He might be caught by a driver behind across the line. And, well, we'll go through the standings after everyone has crossed the line in a couple of minutes' time. Emery still hasn't reached the line out there. We might well see these drivers pass him imminently. In fact, I think he's actually stopped as Matthew Emery. The driver who was looking like he could get a podium, win the AM category certainly. Also got Maxwell then approaching the line. He just about beats Jure in person by 1/100th of a second. So nicely done there. That was for second and third place out of the drivers. And what a crazy race that was, Todd. I mean, double the length that we usually see these races, but I mean, that was more than triple the amount of action.
Oh, easily more than triple. And right now, Matty Emery parked up on the side of the circuit, and he is going to be unable to finish this race out. Now here's the 4 result clothing cars. They're battling for supremacy within the team. This is for 12th through 9th in the AMs, which will actually turn into 8th through 9th in the AMs, or 8th through 11th in the AMs, sorry. Then we have about 22 seconds back to Steve Hansford. And while we're waiting on everyone to finish, once this group of cars finishes here, while we're waiting on everyone else to finish, we'll kind of go through a few replays. Then we'll get you the results and the reverse grid right now. But Matthew Emery, so unlucky, went from leading the AMs and into the top 5 to out of fuel, all within about 30 seconds and 1 straightaway. That's so unfortunate for him.
Absolutely. Might be wise to go through a few replays because I've just seen, I think Joe Mitchell's just, he's got 0.8 of a lap to go. So he might be here for a while to wait for him to cross the line. Although I think he might actually be, no, he's still going out there, so that's a little bit worrying. Also Nick McCann. Oh, well, no offense, Joe. Park it. I mean, it's not worth it. I mean, there's more to life than that. The thing is, he may as well tow back to the pits because he won't lose any places. Martin Sampson, he wants to finish the race today. I mean, we haven't seen these scrap yards, these mobile scrap yards around the circuit. Rob Graham, he doesn't want any of his car left at the end of this one. And I mean, it's quite painful to see. Just like zombies pretty much calling themselves around the German mountains. Mitchell, I mean, there's at most three tires on that car.
We do have 10 minutes for him to finish the lap, so
yes,
we'll have to wait 10 minutes. So we might as well go ahead and run through some replays. And if any one of the admins just wants me to go ahead and roll the reverse grid, please do let me know, and I will go ahead and roll that for you, so that we can go ahead and get the next session up and running, so that as soon as the results are in, we can go ahead and get that going. But let's look at a few replays here. So let's look at what happened to Cesar Rizzo out on the track. Let's quickly ride on board with him. I think that this was an incident. He's already got really bent steering. And he's already got super bent steering, so I'm not too sure what happened to him on that incident. Let's look for a little bit earlier on to see if we can see what happened to him. I'm not seeing anything else, so sadly we're not going to know exactly what caused that incident. But I'm just looking for a few other replays. Is there anything that we missed during the race, Sam, that you're aware of?
I don't think so. I think we may have seen a couple of drivers dropping down earlier on, but I can't recall who it was. We know what happened to Stephen Baxter out there, because he was gaining some places earlier on, but quite quickly had a crash, I think.
So I'm not too sure. Let me just try and there's Rob Graham crossing the line, for those of you wondering. And someone has actually gone ahead and towed back to the pit lane for the sake of us. Whoever that was, I can't exactly remember who that was, but whoever it was has keeping our souls intact, and they have towed back to the pit lane, thank God. So the race results are now up on your screen, and I'll let you go ahead and run through those, Sam.
Yes, absolutely. I'll be nice and quick so we can get the next session up. Jason Cooper wins out by 13.5 seconds ahead of Niles Carson, who starts in 26th on the grid. Jack Ashton rounds out the podium. There was Max Bohr, Alex Cherney, James McRitchie, Craig Cameron, Max Wright, top of the AM drivers, Adam McNally and Kip Stevens rounding out the top 10. Ashley Beard, Luke Cooper, David Hampson, Pete Van Gool, Adam Delmont, Stuart Dick, Andy Maxwell, Jeroen Ursum, Abelkir Al-Amri, and Liam Silkston in 20th place. He was up 26 places, by the way. Then there's Joe McDonald, Adrian Hendy, Billy Rose, Steve Hefford, Scott Malcolm, Craig Jones, Viv Cullinan, Carl Hardy, Steve Hansford, Nick McCarran, Martin Sampson, and Rob Graham. Those were all the drivers on the lead lap. And then the drivers 1 lap down, there were quite a few of them. Matthew Emery, who was running in 5th until the last few moments. Steve Cooley, Charles Kellyman, Cesar Rizzo, Joe Mitchell, Jamie Ayres, Steve Baxter, Brian Holmes, Ben Sharp. Oh, sorry, these are the retirees, by the way. Roots Van Essen, Graham Sessford, Christian Brown, Michael Barry, Carl Yacolet, Charlie Summers, and Ben Mears. So all the drivers down to 39th place will be eligible for that reverse grid. And Tyler, what is the reverse grid going to be?
So let's go ahead and let's roll that reverse grid wheel and let's see how this is going to shake up the drivers here for race number 2 of the evening. And right now, it is a 40-place reverse grid unless it flicks over to 15. No, it's a 40-place reverse grid here for the drivers. So I think that is going to put the last driver on the lead lap eligible.
Yes, that'll be Steve Baxter then on the pole position alongside Jamie Ayres. So good opportunity for both of those drivers. They're pretty fast, those two guys. So perhaps we'll have a chance at that race win. So we're going to be back then for race 2 out of 3. I mean, that was a pretty mad opening race. You do not want to miss the next couple. And we'll be back with you in about 15 minutes time for the rest of the BSR MX5 Pro Series.
Sits to the front bumper, and he hits him again now. Rayon Fowler into the outside wall.
He's gonna pass nearly 3 cars down that front straightaway, and he's gonna get them all done with. What amazing!
Race lead to the inside goes Logan Cloudman is gonna touch in. Pit press sideways. What a save!
Look to the outside as Trunkett goes off. De Jong into 2nd place.
Going for the switchback. Oh, pinpoint driving.
It's howling down to the inside.
Trying this contact though.
Slide left of the racetrack. Chris Renner drives it back down underneath, and he takes that 2nd spot right back. Joker goes to Garrett Lowe.
Garrett Lowe should take victory with all that contact.
He's going to try and make the move around the outside the parabolica. That's not going to work, but he's going to try and get the cut back here. Get the run out the parabolica. That's beautifully done there. Michael Schubert, there's a little bit of door banging as well.
40 of the best sim racers. $100,000 on the line. Who will rise to the challenge? This is the most competitive and sought-after season in iRacing World Championship history. This is where legends are made. This is the Porsche Esports Super Cup.
iRacing, you wanted the best, you got him 4 abreast. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show on dirt, the World of Outlaws.
Gotta love this time of year. Only one outside wall.
Gonna pass nearly 3 cars down that front straightaway, and he's gonna get them all done with. What amazing!
Race lead to the inside goes Logan Cloudman is gonna touch in. Pit crash sideways. What a save!
Look to the outside as Trunkett goes off. De Jong into second place.
Going for the switchback. Oh, pinpoint driving.
It's howling down to the inside.
I tried this contact though.
Slide left to the racetrack. Chris Venner drives it back down underneath, and he takes that second spot right back. Joker goes to Garrett Lowe.
Garrett Lowe should take victory with all that contact.
He's going to try and make the move around the outside the parabolica. That's not going to work, but he's going to try and get the cut back here. Get the run out the parabolica. That's beautifully done there. Michael Schubert, there's a little bit of door banging as well.
Of the best sim racers, $100,000 on the line. Who will rise to the challenge? This is the most competitive and sought after season in iRacing World Championship history. This is where legends are made. This is the Porsche Esports Super Cup.
iRacing, you wanted the best, you got them 4 abreast. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show under the world of outlaw.
Welcome back to the iRacing Esports Network and the BSR MX5 Pro Series. We are gearing up for race 3 of the evening, and on pole position for this race 3 is going to be Pete Van Gool, and on second place is Joe Mitchell, and then third is Kyle Yacolet with Dave Hampson starting in 4th. Then it's Steve Baxter, Steve Hefford, Roots Van Essen, Jason Cooper, Kip Stevens and Nick McCarron, only at the top 10, and the rest of the drivers will go through for you now. So far had 2 terrific races, incidents galore. We've also had some fantastic battling as well, with drivers fighting for the race lead. And well, this one difficult to call a winner certainly. Can Pete Van Gool perhaps hang on to it in his SimLab car? We saw a SimLab winner in race 2. Are we going to see the same thing in race 3 as we get away for race 3 at the Nordschleife? And it's a comfortable start for Van Gool. He'll hold the lead going into turn 1. So far no changes amongst the drivers in the top 10. Hampson just getting ahead of Yacolet for 3rd position. They're side by side into 1 as they have to negotiate this tricky chicane. So far not too many issues around this corner so far today. Once again the drivers quickly getting into double file, nothing more than that, and they negotiate it with ease. No changes in the top 6. Jason Cooper has got up into 7th past Roots Van Essen, McCarron and Graham and Dick as well, all getting past Kip Stevens as well. Andy Maxwell with a bit of an underwhelming start as well, dropping a place. But once again, very nice driving from the drivers on the opening lap through the GP section.
Yeah, everyone really getting off to a nice start there. And it looks like I haven't seen anybody making too much contact as there goes Cooper diving down the inside of Steve Hefford. And that's going to promote Jason Cooper up into the 6th spot now. So he's looking good for a race victory here in the final race of the evening here in the BSR MX5 Pro Series. There's only 3 races tonight, just a little bit unusual from our normal format of 4 races, but due to the fact that the races are taking 30 minutes, and there goes Dave Hampson down the inside. That's actually going to be Joe Mitchell losing 2 spots, maybe in another spot here to Jason Cooper. Cooper looks for the crossover move, but he can't make it work as Steve Hefford slotted in there. But back to what I was saying, now we're only doing 3 races tonight due to the fact of it being a 3-lap race, and the race is taking nearly 30 minutes in length, so still longer than the normal 1-hour races that we would have had.
Definitely, as Baxter gets ahead of Hampson, so and also Cooper, of course, up into 5th place. He's the big gainer amongst the drivers at the front, but once we get onto the Nordschleife part of the circuit, it gets a little bit more difficult to make moves, and importantly more risky as well. And for Cooper, he drops a few points to his main championship rival in race 2, despite winning race 1. He really does not want to get caught up in another accident. Also watch out for Niles Castleson. He's up 11 places so far, from 26th on the grid. Terrific from him. Also Adam McNally up 13 places. Plenty of other drivers as well. Jamie Ayres up 8 places. Brian Holmes up 9 places. Ashley Beard up 9 places as well. It's all going on for these drivers. It's difficult to keep track of everything that's happening. We can see these drivers relatively spread out amongst the top 6 at least. But I imagine they're going to kind of get back together later on once the top runners make their way through the order.
Yeah, but definitely expect these guys to get up through quite quickly. As we just look here, let's look back at this big train of cars and this big gaggle. And as they head up the hill, I think this is about 6 cars deep right here. So this is quite the train of cars here as someone goes wide, and that is Benjamin Mears. Luckily, though, does not end up into the wall because it's so easy to do there. But look at this battle. It's kicking off for the lead here. Look at that. There goes Carl Yacolet going around the outside, and he will slot himself up into the lead, and that will promote Vito Van Gool down into 2nd place. Stephen Baxter not able to benefit from that, but look at Jason Cooper there just in the background.
Trying to get past Dave Hampson, who was very strong in race 1, remember. He was running in 2nd place, in fact, was Hampson, and to be fair, wasn't too far off Cooper's pace. And so if he can stay ahead of Cooper, he's got half a chance at maybe a race victory for this one. So the top 5 separated by 1 second at the moment. There's a few of those gaggles up and down the field. There's slalom of drivers as well. Kip Stevens in amongst it. Cooper goes for the inside. That's a bit of an unusual move. We haven't seen many moves there, but the track just opens up a little bit, and Jason Cooper, ever the optimist, does get that move done. And crucially, ahead of him now are some drivers who he will feel that he's considerably faster than.
Yeah, he definitely will. That was a very opportunistic move there. And there's another driver looking all over the place. That is Andy Maxwell. No, it's actually Benjamin Mears. Looking all over the back of Maxwell there. Oh, and that's Alex Journey around. He's going to collect a couple of drivers in that. That's going to collect Brian Holmes, I believe. Or actually, one of the drivers, one of the Excite iRacing drivers, and that is going to be Brian Holmes. He's going to collect Holmes there, so that is big there for Brian Holmes.
Still getting almost involved is the car number 6 of Alex Cherney, trying to pick up a couple of places again. Once you get one concertina effect like that, it can really spell danger for the drivers behind it. A bit more contact I just hear. Not sure who that was. I think that was just bumper to bumper. Car number 27, Joe Mitchell, continuing to lose some places. He was part of a big pile-up in race 2. Hopefully we won't see a repeat of that in this final race of the evening, as Cooper tries to make a move for the podium places. This would be, gets past Baxter. Next up will be Pete Van Gool in the 34 car. He looks to the inside, goes Cooper, but very strong on the brakes there, to be fair, was Pete Van Gool. He holds onto that place, and he's now going to have a great chance as Van Gool, at challenging Yacolet just ahead. Already getting alongside though is Cooper, and Yacolet has the opportunity here to decide who he gives the slipstream to. Go to the inside, give the slipstream to Cooper, go to the outside, give the slipstream to Van Gool, and it's currently Van Gool with that slight advantage. But now Cooper does get his entire car ahead, and he, who started in 8th place at the start of this lap, is going to go up into the lead now. Jason Cooper, winner of race 1, had a mare of a race 2, as into the wall goes Stephen Baxter. Big damage for him. Cooper has taken the lead. It's Yacolet in 2nd, Van Gool in 3rd, Hampson in 4th.
And look at Carstensen here, he and Dick side by side. And he almost ended in tragedy there, but he was able to regain the car quite easily. And he's got Wouter Van Essen just ahead of him. And that's also Rob Graham, 2nd place of the AMs, just behind him as well. So that group of 4 definitely forming up nicely. We'll have to keep an eye on that one. And Luke Cooper just getting by Andy Maxwell there, but Maxwell's going to hold it around the outside. Cooper slides through that one and into the carousel now. So we'll see a lot of different moves there as Mears gets all up onto the curbing, but they are all going to slot in nicely.
Seen if you just missed that castle so far today, and it's such a disadvantage in this Mazda. It deals with that castle so well, it gains a massive amount of speed, and so you just want to make absolutely sure that you stay within it. Cooper only 6 tenths of a second ahead of Yakulet. If Yakulet can stay within 1 second going onto the dot and he might just have a chance at retaliating, but you know what, already up to 9 tenths of a second this part of the circuit where you've got to be fully committed to the car. The championship leader and the defending champion as well stretches his legs a bit more. And then, yeah, of course, Yakulet Bengal. Yakulet at the top of the AM drivers. Second place in the AM drivers is Rob Graham, currently down in 12th place. He's having a couple of issues himself and into his teammates. That was, I think, car number maybe Ben Mears. It would have been Ben Mears, yes. So a couple of the AM drivers, a couple of the Ultimate drivers crashing into one another there.
It's so unfortunate. You definitely never want to get into your teammate. Definitely not intentionally, that is, and I don't think that was intentional contact. So unfortunate, though. But now, look at this group here. We got 3 SimLab drivers all in line. Can they catch up to Carl Yakulet in the Year 1 racing car? Yakulet really holding his own here. He's the lead of the AMs right now by quite some margin. So he really doesn't have too much to fight for with these guys, except for supremacy, saying that he was able to beat some pro guys. But right now, it is Jason Cooper out in the lead by 1.6 seconds. So he has so far just checked out now that he's gotten into the lead. And if he can keep that car clean throughout the rest of this race, he should be in for a nice result.
Bit of an off track for Nick McCarron, who has got big issues, I believe, has Nick McCann. He had, well, this has just been a throwaway round. I hope this is going to be his drop round for this season, because it's been another really disappointing race for him. In fact, he's still in 12th place, though, but he did lose a couple of places, so I imagine he might have a bit of damage as well on his car. But you know what, it looks very clean, to be fair, but he was off the circuit for a few seconds, was a SimLab driver. Hopefully he can recover, but clearly not feeling particularly comfortable around this circuit today. Side by side between Hampson and Van Gool. Hampson moves ahead. Now, can they catch up to Yakulet? Yes, they can, with ease. Massive overspeed for both of the SimLab drivers, and Dave Hampson was in the perfect place there. 3rd place in the line is where you want to be. You can get a terrific momentum. And now, contact between the two of them at 200 kilometers an hour between Yakulet and also Van Gool. And both will feel that was very avoidable. Also, very close behind between Dick and Carstensen. They get through cleanly. But, oh, poor old Carl Yakulet. He's still somehow the leader of the AM drivers, though.
Yeah, that was so unfortunate there for Carl Yakulet. I mean, really was an innocent one in that one. I think he just got kind of spun around there by the driver on the inside. But so unfortunate to see. It's never something that you want to see between drivers. But look at this, Carstensen and Dick. They're going side by side now down into turn number 1. Carstensen, though, up 21 places. That is an incredible start for him. He is up a load of places now. And now through on Stuart Dick, and he will move himself up into 5th place. So now he's got a 2-second gap to catch before he catches up to Peter Van Gool and Steve Hansford just ahead, and that will lead him up into the podium spots.
Certainly a podium, very possible for Niles Carstensen today. Moving into 3rd place there in the AM category was Max Fair. I think he just got past Ben Mears, so that's relatively important in case something happens to the leading to drivers of Yakulet and Maxwell out on circuits. But the top 10, very spread out. You've got Hefford and Van Gool relatively close to one another, fighting for P3. And then you've also got McNally and Stevens fighting for P8. Apart from that, the top 10, very leisurely at the moment. And then you've got this big pack of drivers: Cameron, Maxwell, Delmont, Ashton, McCarron, and maybe even throwing Wright, Cooper, Mears, Bohr, McRitchie, Cherney and Beard as well. They're in the chasing pack behind as well. Side by side between Maxwell and Delmont then. Delmont going to have to go round the long way through the left-hander, but he'll have the inside for the next, and that should be easy enough. Very respectful there. Maxwell maybe giving him a little bit too much space, and once again giving him lots of space to the inside driver of Jack Ashton, and Ashton moves up into 12th place now.
Yeah, so that was a great sector there. Not so much for Maxwell, but for Delmont and for Ashton. They did give each other a lot of room there and a lot of respect between those two. Right now, though, Hefford is losing some time, or is starting to actually pull away, from Peter Van Gool. So Van Gool losing just a bit of time there through the first sector, and that is allowing actually Nils Carstensen to really close that gap up. So, and now he's down to 1.7 seconds. So keep an eye on the battle for your top 3 right now. So it'll be the battle for 3rd on through 5th. I think that is going to heat up quite nicely as we work our way through lap number 2 and on to lap number 3.
Cooper gets ahead of McKern. McKern dropping down again. It's not actually too bad for him. He just lost a couple of places, had a bit of a bad corner. Well, no, that's quite bad for him too, but that's a very bad corner. I don't think he's hit the wall though. I mean, he's skating with danger currently, and I think he's about to fall into the pool, to be honest. It looks, quite ominous for him. Off the circuit almost is, not sure who that was just in the background there, but Craig Cameron also going side by side with Adam Delmont, who made that move earlier on in the lap, I think. But Delmont now moving ahead once again, and well, look at all this churning a couple of the Swift Cooper esports drivers.
Another great battle here. Delmont trying to go by Craig Cameron, and he will get that move done pretty easily, but Cameron is going to fight back there just a little bit on the inside. They don't make contact, but it was nearly close to it. And Jack Ashton, they're trying to go with his teammate of Adam Delmont, so we'll see if Ashton's able to slot himself up past Craig Cameron as well, and I think he will be able to do so down into the next braking zone. It's very difficult to go side by side up there, and he's actually just going to back out of it. Probably the smarter of the decisions to make there.
Definitely, and he did well to keep second in line. Just running wide and almost losing the car completely was Jack Ashton there. Carstensen gets ahead of Van Gool, straight down the inside of Pete Van Gool. So Carstensen's looking very good right now for second place, perhaps, certainly third place. He'll catch and pass Steve Hefford. Still Simlab having a good day out there, 2nd, 3rd and 5th as it stands, and sometimes not necessarily the fastest in qualifying. They're not at the front of the field in race 1, but they always seem to be thereabouts when the reverse grids take place, and they're really good at consolidating those high up grid places, and they're doing that absolutely today in races 2 and races 3. Of course, they were 1, 2, 3 in the early stages of race 2, if you recall. Ashton catching to Cameron. This is just a matter of time. Craig Cameron, to be fair, up 12 places so far, but actually on this lap he has been falling backwards a little bit. Alex Cherney and Luke Cooper unable to do too much currently in this pack. They're 4th and 5th in this queue, but yet to make any inroads on this second lap of the race.
And Benjamin Mears, I think, has actually just dropped out of the server. So I think that Ben Mears has dropped out of the server. That's so unfortunate for him after running up towards the front in the AM battle. Not able to make that one work though. Yacolet and McNally here now starting to battle as McNally comes through. And I think that will be Yacolet. Just going to be ahead of him right now, but here's Nils Carstensen and Steve Hefford. Carstensen up into 3rd place, and right now he's just got about 3 seconds to catch before he gets to Dave Hampson. And right now, with the pace that he's got, I wouldn't be surprised if he can get there.
Trying to retaliate is Hefford. He pulls ahead, and he's got some good momentum here. He maybe just dropped a little bit behind to get this next run. Carstensen's still got a little bit of his car side by side. Going to be brave from Hefford to go around the outside here, because if the other driver understeers into you, then you're going to head into the wall, and that'll be the end of your race. Still side by side, terrific battling between these two. Hefford on the inside, Carstensen keeps his foot into it, and now into the next right-hander. Carstensen just moving ahead. Contact between the two of them is always going to happen, and Hefford pulls ahead for Simlab. Can he cover that inside line for the carousel? Yes, he can. And that was incredible driving. I'm not sure if the drivers would have guts to do that in real life, running at 200 miles an hour straight down the inside though was Carstensen, almost having a bit of a Mario Kart booster on his car, rocketed down the inside using the carousel, and Steve Hefford will have to stop back into fourth.
Yeah, there's another good battle here. Stuart Dick has just gotten by Carl Yacolet, and Adam McNally's still there as well, but will Yacolet be able to get back by Stuart Dick and move himself back up into 6th place? And right now, look at McNally there. Oh, McNally's into the wall. That's going to cost him big. Crucially, though, no steering damage for McNally.
Yeah. Could have been a lot worse, that one, for Adam McNally. Round parts of the circuit where there is no runoff, it is just a wall.
Look at that gap shrinking, though, up towards the front. Carstensen's really closing in here on Dave Hampson. It's down to 2.3 seconds right now. And also, let's look at this battle. Look at this. Maxwell runs wide, and he's going to lose a lot of spots to these pro drivers here. He's going to go side by side with Luke Cooper. And he's not going to be able to. Cooper is actually going to slot up ahead. This is also going to break up that pro kind of train right now of a bunch of these pro drivers now just starting to get through all the AMs and slot themselves up. As we know, these pro drivers are very, very quick. As there, Maxwell backs out of it again. I think he's just pretty much letting these pro guys go, and he knows that they're quicker, so just let them go and fight it out for themselves.
Yeah, that was smart from Maxwell. Credit to him. He realised the bigger picture because he knows he's coming up to the dot Naho in just a few moments, and so as long as he stays within a second of that train, he'll be able to stay very close, so may as well just get dragged along by them. Stuart Dick then ahead of Carl Yacolet, as Dick just made that move then on Yacolet. I assume he has. Also, no, Yacolet dropped behind, didn't he, earlier on? So Yacolet actually is very quick around the outside, though he's almost into a wall. Big slide on the grass, but he keeps it going. Behind him is Adam McNally, who hit the wall earlier on in this lap. Remember, Yacolet had a 200km/h spin at the end of the dot Naho when he made contact with Steve Hefford earlier on in the race. That was on lap 1. That was less than a lap ago. Quite incredible how long ago that feels. And he's a bit of a sitting duck, I think, against Adam McNally down this next straight. 2 seconds behind Stuart Dick, so no slipstream whatsoever. McNally went for the thinnest bits of tarmac he could possibly find. I think either way it's going to give him the move. Carstensen then with good straight line speed. Can he get past Hampson? Going to have to go to the outside. This is going to be difficult for Carstensen. You want to be on the left side of the circuit into this next final corner. But either way you look at it, Carstensen with a bit more confidence, a bit more momentum crucially, and he gets the move done. Opportunity there for Hampson to retaliate as we move on to lap 3. A decently long straight going into turn 1, and this is where the track opens up once again. Outside for Hampson, he's going to have to go around a long way into turn 1. He moves his nose just ahead of his rivals. 7 seconds off the lead, by the way, these drivers. Luke Cooper easing to a second race victory of the evening. Really good speed carried into the corner from Dave Hampson. Has the inside for turn 2, and that is some superb defence against Niles Carstensen.
Yeah, look at this battle here. They're almost 3 wide going down into turn number 1. They actually are a lot back down into 2 wide. Max right on the inside there of Dave Cameron, Craig Cameron, sorry. And he is now up into 10th place. So up 18 spots there is Max Wright. And he's got about 7 seconds before he's going to catch up to Carl Yacolet. So he is quite far off the lead right now, though. But if he can stay in second place in the AMS, it'll still be good points for him. Look at this battle here. Craig Cameron and James McRitchie. They are swapping positions, and there's Alex Journey as well. So now it's turned from a 2-car battle into a 3.
Journey slowly making some places up on the last lap, round the outside into the Dunlop curve. Good exit for Journey. He can't do anything with it though because there's 2 cars in the way. If anything, he might be able to go straight past the pair of them. I think the driver on the outside there has absolutely no chance of fighting that. and Cherney gets one of them done then. Next up will be McRitchie, again towing, and we've seen a lot of moves into this next left-hander, but not the confidence for Cherney to go for the move. Deep on the brakes for McRitchie, goes way off the circuit, not sure if he hung on to that place or not. Bet he did stay to that place. Cherney once again will attack though. Difficult to tell which is the better line into this next sweeping chicane. But either way, I think Cherney's got such overspeed, he's going to be cleared by the time they enter it. And the car number 6 is up into 11th place and now can catch up to Max right ahead.
Yeah, and we're just going to jump back here to the battle for second place. Niels Carstensen looking all over the back here at Dave Hampson. Hampson doing an amazing job fend here. They know that they can't catch Jason Cooper up in the lead right now as he is just so far ahead, up 8.6 seconds. So it is pretty much now just the battle for second place between these drivers. Dave Hampson, nothing he can do right now. Or sorry, Niels Carstensen, nothing he can do right now. Hampson having to defend for the life of himself if he wants to keep Niels Carstensen behind. He knows Carstensen has pace, so it's going to be very, very difficult for him, and especially around the Nordschleife, he knows that if he just throws the slightest block, it'll make that very, very difficult to pass because there's not too many passing opportunities that you really can do here.
Yeah, this is one of them though, and it's pretty much impossible to defend because inside, it's kind of the line you want, but on the outside you can carry so much momentum and have the inside for the right-hander coming up. Moving ahead is Niels Carstensen. He did get this move done, and remember at the end of Dottenham on the last lap, lost it very quickly into turn 1, but you can see that amount of speed. They're pretty much flat out through that left-hander. Incredible pace given, and not a whole lot of space given there from Niels Carstensen. Pushes out Dave Hampson, and crucially makes a bit of a break as well. Breaks that draft nice and quickly. Carl Yacolet ahead of Stuart Dick. He's only just got past Stuart Dick, I think. So well done to him. He's back up into 6th place.
Great job there from Carl Yacolet. And that is Stuart Dick there, just in line and in 2nd place. Adam McNally is currently in 3rd in that train. And then as they head up the hill, no one sticks the nose in, no one tries to make a move. And they are all, wow, that was close there for Adam McNally to being completely off the track. And you know how easy it is. We've seen it several times in the race so far. You get just the slightest bit out on the curbing there and out on that grass, and it is pretty much you're along for the ride at that point. There's nothing much that you can do.
Yeah, the grip it really goes down once you get a little bit on the grass. Just dipping a wheel onto the grass can often be the very worst thing because then you've got a real uneven amount of grip amongst the tyres and very easy to spin the car around in that scenario. And the curbs as well around this place ever so difficult, although this Mazda does deal with them very impressively despite being a pretty small car. Cherney chomping at the bit behind Cameron. 9th place up for grabs. Any higher than this will be impossible because they've got another 9 seconds up to Adam McNally up the road. And Cherney's certainly a quick driver, but he's not that quick unless a big incident occurs up ahead. Around this part of the circuit, ever so difficult to go for. Maybe you've got to be fully committed, fully alongside by the time you attempt it. And it's probably best for him just to wait till that long straight which is coming up about midway around the lap.
Yeah, we're just jumping back here to this battle here. This is for 6th place. Stuart Dick with a great run there, and that's going to leave Yacolet very much exposed here to a move from Dick, and Dick already sends one. And he's trying to go around the outside. It's hard to carry the momentum through this part, but then it turns in to the inside here for this next corner. And I think Stuart Dick is just going to be able to slot up alongside. No, he's not. Yacolet holds on nicely, though. Who does McNally go with? Does McNally push Yacolet, or does he push Stuart Dick?
In the end, they all slot into position, and unfortunately for McNally, he might just catch a little bit too quick because he can see he's got absolutely nowhere to go. Having to lift off the throttle most likely was McNally right there. And alongside back goes Stuart Dick. Yacolet though, good straight line speed for him, clearly with very little damage on that car despite that spin earlier on. Now Dick gets a little bit of overspeed, nothing that McNally can do, completely boxed in from the Joes just ahead. We're seen side by side all the way through today. Contact maybe between those two, very difficult to tell. Yacolet drops down into second place, but I'm sure they're going to go side by side down in Dotnaho later on in the race. Alex Cherney, 1/10 of a second behind Craig Cameron. Cameron's dropped from like 8th down to 12th, but back up into 9th place. Very impressive from him.
A nice job just to rebound there very, very quickly. So we'll just keep it on looking here, just trying to see all the way through the field. We got some pretty big gaps actually throughout the field. We're not seeing too close a racing like we did see in race 1 and the absolutely chaotic race 2. Everyone's just kind of calmed down a bit more here in race number 3. So everyone really just kind of knowing that, you know, this is the final race. There's not much that they can really rebound from. In another form of race number 4. This is usually when we would see the most drivers having the biggest moves and the craziest overtakes, but everyone else seems to get pretty well calm. It's Carl Yacolet gets super sideways there twice in the span of 2 corners.
And that runs the risk of potentially overheating the tyres as well. I think we saw that with a couple of drivers earlier on. Another slide as well for Adam McNally now behind. Fortunately for these guys, the track temperature has cooled down since race 2. 21 in race 1, 31 in race 2, and now down to 18 in this race 3. It's 8 o'clock in the evening in sim. Straight down the inside there goes McNally though. A bit of a mistake there from Yacolet, clearly not carrying much speed to the right-hander. Absolutely hitched it up, did Adam McNally, and he does make that move into 7th place. And crucially, Yacolet just struggling for grip on the next corner and potentially drops out of the slipstream range. The top 7, there's no gaps closer than 1 second at the moment. Like you said, Tyler, everyone seems to have calmed down a little bit for this race. Still been absolutely terrific though, and possibly the highest quality of driving, I think, in this race. We've seen far few incidents, which is great to see. Far more drivers seemingly going to take the checkered flag. Cameron holding for all he can against Cherney, but you feel it's a bit inevitable that he's going to get done down the Dotnaho.
Yeah, so we'll just see how he plays this out. It's pretty much all about how he plays out the strategy here. And Carl Yacolet also is pretty close to Adam McNally here. This is another one. How early does he pull out? And does he make the move? And does he just fully commit? That's pretty much what you have to do here. You have to fully commit. If you are going to make a move, Van Gool also close to Hefford. So let's quickly just go ahead and ride on board with him here as he's got the overspeed of days.
2/10 of a second, 1.5 of a second. He's going to easily make that move. I think is Pete Van Gool. There he goes. Alongside, they are teammates, so I expect them to be quite civil. Van Gool just about edging himself side by side. There goes Yacolet then, past Adam McNally, but they're too far behind Stuart Dick in order to challenge him. And also McRitchie ahead of Cameron, ahead of Cherney. Jason Cooper is so far ahead, he's already won the race, so congratulations to Jason Cooper. Wins 2 races in 1 evening, which is a very rare feat, undoubtedly. Almost 4 wide then. This is a battle for the top 10. Who's going to win out? Contact there. McRitchie has to go off the circuit. Does he rejoin safely? He's going to tap the wall, but he should still make it to the line at least. Ahead of these guys is Cameron then. He's going to finish in 9th place. Cherney will be in 10th, and Max Bohr will be in 11th. You can see the vastly different speeds as they approach the line, and there they are, all crossing the line, very close to one another. Carl Yacolet will finish top of the AM drivers.
And there we go. Jack Ashton actually gets ahead there of Max Wright. So Max Wright gives him that spot there, I think, as there's another one, Stevens and Beard. Ashley Beard won't be able to get by Kip Stevens, and Stevens will hold on to it there at the line.
McCann finishes, I believe, his first race of the evening. He certainly didn't finish race 2, and I think he got caught up in an incident in race 1 as well, so at least some points for McCann. He's running in 4th place in the championship. And here's all the Resort Clothing drivers again, at least 3 of them, to be fair. So Michael Barry fighting along in the 675 car. The drivers behind are going to try to get involved on the run to the line. Cullinan and Hardy just behind these guys. Jones has dropped behind Barry, I think. That was such a long straight. Cullinan's not going to quite make it, unfortunately, up to these couple of drivers. And just one more corner for them to negotiate. To be fair to a lot of the result clothing drivers, they've done a terrific job at finishing as many races as they can. Steve Cooley having a bit of an aggressive turn of thoughts at the end, trying to pull off a couple of moves. But I think that is how they're going to finish those 5 drivers as they approach the line, and they'll pretty much be the last drivers to cross the line, just a couple more behind.
Yeah, so now we're just waiting on Delmont and Malcolm and Luke Cooper as well to finish. But I don't think the Luke Cooper will be finishing anytime soon. So, Luke, if you're watching the broadcast, just do us all a favor and not make us sit through an entire, probably with that amount of damage, 15-minute lap time.
I mean, we've had a couple of delays so far today. We had a delay in qualifying with a driver completing a lap, and well, this usually to be fair, we haven't finished much later than we usually do in terms of the race. I mean, maybe finish about quarter of an hour earlier than this normally. Thank God we didn't have 4 races today. That was a contemplation, and I mean, we would be here for another 45 minutes at least if we had 4 races. So we are thankful of that. And there are the drivers. I think they're doing donuts for their results, and I think a couple of them thinking, oh, thank God we don't have to go back to the Nordschleife for another year or so. Because, I mean, it's not everyone's cup of tea, but I'm sure you viewers have thoroughly enjoyed tonight's racing. Hopefully we'll have a couple of interviews with the drivers as well after we've gone through the results. And it's good to see those MX5s being able to pull some donuts. Of course, waiting for the new TCR Audi RS3, and that is front-wheel drive, and it's pretty difficult to do donuts in a front-wheel drive car. You can do some kind of donuts, but it's not quite the same thing.
They're more power slides than they are donuts. Let's just be honest in the front-wheel drive.
Well, I think we've still got. Have we still got Luke Cooper driving out there? If he is, then no, he has.
Yes.
He has retired. Oh, there we go.
He's cut the track, so he will get a DQ for that.
He will. So he'll still score some points, though. But he's doing us all a favour of skipping some of the circuits, and that will be it for him. So the final results of the evening, the results for race day. It's Jason Cooper who takes the 2nd race victory of the evening. Quite extraordinary, that beat. That is only happens a couple of times a year. So congratulations to Jason Cooper, and he took that 3rd win very comfortably as well. Nas Carterson finished in 2nd. Dave Hampson finishes in 3rd with Steve Heppard and Pete Van Gool rounding up the top 5. Then Stuart Dick, Carl Yackler was top of the AM drivers. Adam McNally, Craig Cameron and Axe Cherney rounding out the top 10. And then it was Max Bohr, James McRitchie, Jack Ashton, Max Wright, Kip Stevens, Ashley Beard, Andy Maxwell, Steve Baxter, Nick McKern, Adrian Hendy, Charles Kellyman, Juan Ursum, Bailey Rose, Joe McDonald, Martin Sampson, Steve Hansford, Michael Barry, Craig Jones, Rafe Cullinan, and Steve Cooley. That was the top 30, and then it was Carl Hardy, Adam Delmont, Scott Malcolm, Luke Cooper. Those were the drivers on the lead lap, although Luke Cooper did get a... Cooper got I think he got a penalty in the end. He didn't get put a lap down, he got a penalty, and he finished 20 minutes down. So I think he got like an 18-minute penalty or something, which is quite large. The drivers who were 1 lap down were Abelkir Al-Amri, Christian Brown, Joe Mitchell, Brian Holmes. 2 laps down was Ben Mears, Matthew Emery, Liam Silkston, Wout Van Essen, Jamie Ayres, Cesar Rizzo, Rob Graham, and Graham Sesford was 3 laps down. 46 drivers there. We had a lot of the drivers sticking with us for the entire evening, which we super appreciate. And I think we're going to have an interview now with, I believe this is Carl Yacolet. So congratulations, Carl. You were showing really good pace today, and it all came to fruition in the end. You won the amateur standings in race 3.
Oh, that was an awesome race. Did you catch the first lap spin on the main straight?
We did. I was saying 200 kilometers an hour and not hitting anything. Miracles do happen, clearly.
Well, I used to auto test, the car control where you do spin turns and things. So I think my experience in that came out there. It was I was lucky not to hit anything, but that race, I've never felt so comfortable around the ring as I did in that race. I was able to just push the whole way as hard as I could. It was just epic. Loved it. Absolutely loved it.
I mean, you looked really confident as well in all the races. I believe race 1, I think you were like up 15 places or something in the first half lap, and then something
Yeah,
happened to you.
18 places. I've been having connection issues tonight. I keep getting halfway through the first race on a Tuesday and it all starts dropping out. I think it might be something to do with the number of cars on a Tuesday night. So I've been changing settings and it all came right in the end. But yeah, 18 places in half a lap. Lots of moves around the outside.
Yeah, definitely. It was pretty spectacular to see. And yeah, I mean, you spoke about how comfortable you were out on circuit. Do you think taking part in the Amateur Cup yesterday was of great use?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I had 2 seconds in that yesterday. I'm leading that championship at the moment quite comfortably. I expect I'll be made a pro soon at this rate.
Yeah, absolutely. You certainly deserve it. I'm just looking to see what the next round of the championship is. I'm not sure if you're quite sure.
It's not Road America, it's the other one, isn't it?
It would be
It-
Mid Ohio.
Mid-Ohio.
Mid-Ohio. I've been watching some in-car from an IndyCar around there today, so I'll
Does
be
it?
on that practicing tomorrow.
Absolutely. Well, we wish you the best of luck for that one, Carl. And before we let you go, is there anyone you'd like to thank?
Yeah, year one, of course, with all the flip-flops and things, and especially Adam McNally for the doing the honourable thing right at the end of that race. We had a brilliant race together, but we just touched and I got turned and he felt guilty and let me through, which was very nice to see.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for having a chat with us, Carl, and we'll see you next week.
Certainly will. I've really enjoyed tonight. I mean, after all the hassles with connection, to get a brilliant race like that at the end made it all worthwhile.
Absolutely. Great to hear. Thanks, Carl.
Thank you. Good night.
So I think that rounds out our interviews for the evening. And Tyler, next up, Mid-Ohio. Personally, I'm a big fan of that circuit. I kind of think of it as the Hungaroring of America, in that it's kind of quite slow left and right speed corners, a little bit unique, a little bit of elevation change as well. Do you have any real life experience around that circuit even?
I do not. I was actually supposed to race there, but never ended up doing that. So I don't have any real life experience there, but definitely I do kind of agree with you though. It is kind of the Hungaroring of America, and it's definitely a lot of fun to drive around there. I've driven around there on the sim. It's quite a few times. Super excited for that one. Should promote some great MX5 racing, considering we do have a pretty long back straightaway there. So should be quite a bit of fun to do.
Absolutely. Well, we hope that you join us for next week's broadcast of the BSR MX5 Pro Series. Of course, if you've enjoyed this video, do leave it a like and also give a subscribe to the iRacing Esports Network to watch much more fantastic professional commentaries of iRacing races. And also, if you wouldn't mind, please give the Apex Racing TV YouTube channel a check out as well. We do other MX5 races on that, along with Kia races. We'll soon be broadcasting TCR's World GT races and Porsche Cup races. ILMS as well, the iRacing Le Mans series as well, which is at actually Le Mans on Friday evening. So I thoroughly recommend you check that one out. That'll be on the Apex Racing TV YouTube channel. Also check out the Apex Racing TV Twitch channel as well, along with our Facebook page as well. But well, thank you for all tuning in for this broadcast. Hope that you've enjoyed it. Hope you'll be back with us next week. But for now, from me and from Tyler, we're going to say goodbye and we'll see you next time.